Welcome to the Never Forget Hidden Histories podcast. I'm your host, Michael Gilkison, and your co-host is Heidi Brown Gilkison. And this is the podcast where we stop being polite and start getting real.
That's been used already, Michael.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's like MTV Real World. It's been done.
Hey, welcome to the Never Forget Hidden Histories podcast, and we're very fortunate to have Scotty the Kid, aka Scotty the Kid, aka author, Instagrammer Scott Ryan.
What's up, you guys?
Hi.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah. Try to do everything, man. I wear many hats, as they say.
Yeah, it's really cool to get to have you as our second guest on our third podcast because we see your content a lot and resonate with it a lot. It's very fascinating,
Awesome.
and you have this book out now too.
Yeah, so the book has been, I touched on it a little bit on I've been talking about it more about my lives because people have been like, hey, like, what's this book about? Like, how did you come about? How did it come about? And honestly, like, as I became more and more awake to what's going on in the world, I was like, to be honest, the last 5 years, I was like, someone should write a book. Someone should write a book. Like, somebody needs to, like, put everything that's going on in a story so it's digestible for the public. And eventually, like, I had this epiphany where I was like, I guess I should be the one to write this book. And like I said, I originally was like, because I grew up in LA and I grew up in Hollywood and skating, DJing, making music, writing music, songwriter, whatever. And so I've always been like my creative, an artist, I guess.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who I grew up with in Hollywood. He's probably like 10 years older than me. And I've seen him direct and do different projects. And I was like, hey, bro, I have this idea for a movie. And it's the story, and first thing I think is not a book. I think like movie, because I'm like, this is easy to translate, So I sat down with him, told him the whole idea through and through. Took hours.
And he's like, you got to drink this blood first.
Oh
Go
my
through
God.
it through
No,
rituals.
so I will say, so here's the crazy thing, like, about Hollywood is that when I say Hollywood, and I understand why it's a trigger word for most people, because they just assume, they're like, oh my God, bro, you had to have been in it. Like, you had to. And I'm like, no, like, to be honest, like, the deepest I would say I was in anything was just being around entertainers and porn stars and athletes and just kind of like that environment of, it's all ego. So that's what I tell people. It's like all ego. It's like, I'm famous, I'm rich, I'm in my Lamborghini, I'm in my Aston Martin, like, who I am. It's just this edge of like, you aren't allowed to be let into my circle because I'm famous and you're not, and you wish you were. It's just like all that.
Yeah. Michael and I have been binging Entourage recently, so we get it.
Which is
it's
crazy.
a good fiction. I'm
Dude,
like, there's no
actually,
blood drinking.
I've seen all of Entourage, bro.
Yeah.
And actually, I could even show you. So that actor, Adrian Grenier, who plays Vince, he actually managed a band called The Skins, and I opened for them at South by Southwest.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I'll pull up the tweet because I have it saved in my phone. And he was like, he came up to me after the show, and he was like, bro, he's like, I love your music, and I was like, thanks, bro.
Wow.
And so Adrian, I have it here somewhere. Maybe, okay, if it takes too long,
We
then
saw
I'm not gonna.
him. My girlfriends and I saw him at a bar one time in San Francisco, and we tried to buy him a drink, and he said no.
Really? That's so funny.
I got rejected.
Dude, it's okay.
And
I
while
really
you're pulling it up, we get it, because there's Hollywood metaphorically, and then there's Hollywood, the neighborhood. We used to live by the Guitar Center on Sunset.
Oh, yeah, you guys
we
are
would
right
get
there.
coffee there. The Ravenwood or the Deadwood, I forget now.
Yeah.
There's a good
No,
coffee
totally.
place.
Yeah. So it's in here somewhere. I'll just.
It's
It was
okay.
like a few years ago. It's okay. I don't want to waste time on it. But anyways, like, yeah, he came up to me. He's like, bro, like, your music's dope. Like, because I had like a rap rock band. Like, I basically would perform my music, and I had a live drummer, and I would even DJ my set while my drummer would play, and I'd rap and sing or whatever. So,
Yeah.
anyways, but yeah, so that's why
Dang.
the Entourage thing really resonates with me. I
We
love the
love that
Entourage.
show.
Yeah, yeah, I love Turtle, and then he ended up owning Fat Sal's and doing that whole part of his
Whoa!
journey. Yeah, Turtle's the owner of Fat Sal's.
That's the real owner of
The one
Fat
the
Sal's?
one with all the chicken strips and mozzarella sticks in
Yeah,
No.
the
yeah, yeah,
sandwich? Oh
yeah.
my
That's
God, I
yeah,
Are
didn't
yeah.
you
know that
Fat
was
kidding?
him.
Sal's. That
How
yeah,
did I
Turtle owns
not
it.
how did
Yeah,
I not know this?
yeah.
All right, I
Learn something
just
new every day. Hidden history, bro.
no, no.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
No,
no,
listen.
really.
Wait, no, listen to this. We're about to open this comedy room in Nashville with my friend
Mhm.
Trevor Kevalo, my buddy Trevor. Trevor just started a comedy show at Fat Sal's because they just did a new
What?
room. Yes, I
That's
know.
cool.
Oh,
I'm like,
Wow.
that's
yeah.
It's all
Turtle
connected, bro. Yeah,
because
Turtle.
to me the Hollywood part is like, the acting classes and scamming people.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Totally.
when Turtle was like, "Hey, Vincent Chase is gonna be at this party tonight," and then he goes in and he's like, "Oh, Vince is already inside. He's not in the
Yeah,
limo." And he goes and grabs
exactly.
the 2 grand and then says to Drama, he's like, "My mother would never let you stay at our house. You get on her nerves so bad," and then hands him
Yeah,
the 2 grand. Like to me,
dude,
that's
it's
Hollywood.
so it's funny because a lot of people don't know this. I was actually here's another thing. I do private security like currently, and I have done
Nice.
private security for the last few years. And I
You're
was
gonna need it,
did
buddy.
Yeah, I know, right? That's in some people, that's another thing people say, like, oh, bro, like, aren't you scared? Aren't you? And I was like, honestly, like, number one, like, I have God with me, so I'm not really gonna be going anywhere scared at any point. Like, I'm not
That's
stupid.
good.
Like, I use
Yes.
discernment. There's been
Yes.
times where I'm
Thank you.
like,
Amen.
yeah, and there's moments where I'm like, there's something inside of me that I'm like, this doesn't feel right, or I'm not going to go. And I've had that since I was a kid because I grew up in a fairly rough area, and I got invited to things and I was at parties and different things, and I was like, something's going to happen here in a little bit. I can just feel the energy shifting a little, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, totally. That's
I'm going
happened
to
to me.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm going to take off. And I leave, and the next morning, my friends were like, bro, literally like 30 minutes after you left, like so and so got in a fight, and this kid shot this other kid. And I was like, I could just feel it. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I feel that. I listen to my gut. That's another thing. Like, I tell people too, like, you always have to listen to your gut because it contains knowledge in the same way that if you were to like think about what the human brain looks like, think about what your lower intestine looks like.
Yes.
It almost looks identical. They're almost the same.
Yeah.
So I tell
Oh
them,
yeah,
like,
yeah. The gut is another brain in your body. It literally is.
literally, yeah,
And a
exactly. A
lot
lot
of
of
mental
people
illnesses come from your gut not being balanced.
100%. It's
Makes me
all
wonder
relative,
makes me wonder about kombucha. Do you think there's like people are putting bad
Kombucha.
stuff in it? Do you drink
Dude,
kombucha?
honestly, I don't drink kombucha. No,
Yeah.
I'm not like I've had it before, and I know that they're like it's supposed to like heighten your like make you like it's all gut health, right? But
Yeah.
I'm to me when I honestly when I'm like really like feeling the need for my gut health, I just fast. I'll just go on
Yes.
a gnarly
Yeah.
fast, like
How
and
many
then
days will you do?
um most recently, so usually I've kind of gotten away from it. I'll be 100% honest in the last couple of months, but usually what I would do is just do like I'll eat once a day only. Right now I've kind of got back to eating twice a day just because based on like my schedule, I get like it's just my schedule is kind of all over the place. Sometimes
Yes,
like I can
yes.
only eat when I can, and so I'm just like, oh man, I probably shouldn't eat this late. And I don't really eat even bad this late, but it's just sometimes I'll eat even veggies and stuff. But I'm like, you're not supposed to eat and go to sleep. That's not good for you. So,
Right.
but I to answer your question, when I just do like a standard fast, I'll do like 24 hours is like nothing. So I'll do like a 48 hour. And then if I'm really going for it, I'll do 100 hour.
Whoa.
I've
How
done,
many
yeah.
days is that?
It's like
Five?
it's like 3.5 days almost.
Oh.
So
Of a
like, I think like
fast.
Oh,
it's like a
gotcha. Yeah.
Wednesday. I think if I can remember correctly, like a Wednesday night was the last time I started it. And I could eat like Sunday afternoon or something like that.
Wow. And you
So
Yeah.
do, that's
if
more
I'm
of a
correct,
religious fast.
um, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I'm religious. I believe in God and everything. But and I do pray through it and stuff. But it's just kind of like the what I know internally is going on in my body. Like I'll even check in. I'm like because even when I'm hungry, I'm like, okay, at 44 hours, what's happening in my body right now? And it's like, oh, you're deteriorating all the dead cells. You're getting rid of
Yep.
that, and that itself is kind of what keeps me like, okay, I gotta finish this. I gotta keep going. Like it keeps me like centered and focused on like, okay, let me finish this. I set this goal in place. Let me really like go for it, you know?
Yeah, I totally get that. I want to do it so bad. I don't know why it's so hard for me. And I
Yeah, it's tough. It's drinking a lot of water. It is really all mental. And you do get like I even will be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. And it's a 35-minute hunger. And I'm like, and it's like you're just habitually used to eating so often.
Hmm.
That's why you want to eat. It's not that you actually are that hungry. Because the bottom line
yeah.
is like, even right now, I'm like definitely 10 pounds heavier than I usually am. But I also am like working out. I like to use the weight to be able to like strength train more.
Yeah.
And also like it's funny in the back of my mind because my friends and family are like, "You're hilarious, bro." Because I literally am like, I don't really care if I'm 10 to 15 pounds up. I'm also 6'2", so I'm not like a small dude. So for
Oh,
me, I'm
I
like,
didn't know you were so
yeah,
tall.
yeah. I'm like 6'2". I'm like 205 right now. So I'm like bigger. I'm usually like 190. So I'm like, up a little bit, but I'm also kind of like, if shit goes down, I have the weight I need to
Yes.
where I don't
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
eat for like 30 days if I needed to. Like I have fat storage. My family's like, damn, you really go there? And like, bro, we don't know what's going on in the world, bro. Like if the EMP goes off and we don't have access to food, I'm not feeding myself. I'm feeding my family. Like. And
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
right.
funny
Yeah.
because people are like, dang, that's like a really crazy mentality to live in. And I'm just like,
Not really.
you gotta be ready for anything, dude. Like, by the way, so this is gonna look kind of funny because it was the picture. I found the tweet and the
Oh,
picture that I
nice.
took with
All right.
Adrian. This is before I was awake. So this is like 2013. And I'm doing like the rock star hands, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, worship Satan, bro!" Like, the
Well,
Our
Satan.
son,
And
our
I
son
didn't.
did those rock star hands
you
in his
So
already.
old
I
pictures.
Whoa. You got
Yeah,
long
Hold
see,
on.
hair,
You
dude.
guys
dude,
say
I
so.
had luck. Not anymore, bro.
Wait, Scotty, hold it up
Let's hold
again
it.
and
Yeah.
talk so the mic
Okay, so
switches.
this is yeah, so this is let me see, there it is straight. So this is me and Adrian at South by Southwest in 2013 after I played a show, wearing the Nikki Diamond tank top. Shout out to Nikki Diamond. This is a
Yeah.
skate brand. And then the next thing he said right here,
I thought you were a Satanist from Pittsburgh. You upside
dude.
down
Oh
Pittsburgh, bro.
my,
No,
bro,
just
and
kidding.
that's the thing. So here's the thing. I grew up skating, so I have like my body's covered in tattoos. So I have tattoos. This is the one that people pulled out and they're like, "Bro, you're in it. You're a psyop." I have a tattoo. You remember the show Real Monsters when we were kids? I don't know. I'm 36. So Real Monsters was like a Nickelodeon show of like
Yes,
these
yes.
crazy
I think
monsters.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
Yeah.
it's like a fever
39.
dream. It's like a
It's
fever
Yeah.
actually
dream.
Real Monsters 7.
Ah,
Yeah.
Real Monsters.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
So there's a character from Real Monsters. I still couldn't find him, but he was a slice of pizza with bat wings. And so I
Oh.
have that tatted on the back of the inside of one of my knees on it,
Oh,
like
wow.
behind
That's
my
really
knee. And
cool.
dude, because I was a skater kid, and my boy's like, I got the tattoo gun. I was like, bro, do the Real Monster slice of pizza. People literally are like, bro, he's in Pizzagate. And I'm just like, dude, like, first of all, I didn't even know what Pizzagate was in 2010 when I was getting these tattoos. Like, and so people have like definitely dug deep on that and been
Yeah.
like,
Well,
bro,
That level of hypervigilance and paranoia, that's where you will slip into psychosis. And we
oh,
definitely.
know
stop.
this. We know this by experience. Like that
Yeah.
is where honestly it's almost like a reverse idolatry. Michael was just talking about
Yeah.
this on our last
It's true.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's like if you put that much faith and focus in it, that's how is that any different than
Right.
idolatry?
No, it's
Scotty,
true. No,
you know,
100%.
you know what she did the other night? She checked her phone before we go to sleep and she puts it down and she goes, Michael, I just checked my friend's Discord. Kirk Cameron and Candace Cameron.
Oh
Charlie
my
Kirk,
God.
Candace.
Bro,
I'm
Candace,
like,
that's like,
what?
Owens.
oh my God.
What? I'm like,
Seriously. And it's
and what?
at
And what?
yeah, it's because at this point, it's crazy how like you can almost twist anything. And I mean, you
Yeah.
know, there are some things, and then that's when people start saying, as we know in our community, nothing is coincidence. There are no coincidences. But then if you say there's no coincidences, then like in 2010, when I was 20 years old, I was at Comet Ping Pong in DC. Like I was broke at 20 years old skating through Hollywood. Like I definitely didn't know about any of the trafficking, and obviously if I was a part of any of this dark stuff, would I go as far as talking about the stuff I talk about to the level that I talk about? And people are like, he's a psyops. An Instagram page called
No,
Unmasking Scotty
it's
the Kid. Like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, chill. Like,
it's just like you're like from hanging at the comedy store, you're around all these people, and it's just like, oh, they're not gonna invite you to their barbecue or this and that. Like you're
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
for me, it
I
just
think
made
yeah,
I
100%.
sense.
agree. I think agree in general that there are no coincidences, but like that doesn't mean not all of them mean what you think they do, and they don't mean bad
Right,
things all the time. And like
right.
synchronicities, of course, there's going to be synchronicities because
Oh,
our
of course.
existence
Yeah.
is based, like, I
In
think
yeah,
our existence is
exactly.
pretty much based on like math and physics and stuff. So, of course, there's
Exactly,
synchronicities.
exactly, 100%.
But let's
So
see the tweet though. Yeah. All
so
right.
I said chilling with my homie Adrian Grenier before my show. We're about to get actually it was after the show, but Scotty the Kid checked out your tunes, good stuff. Thanks for giving love to the skins in Rec Room. Catch you on
Aw.
recroomrecords.com. So that
I
was kind
miss
of a random.
old school Twitter.
Yeah, I know, right? OG Twitter.
Wait a
So I
second.
was
Do we hang on? Talk while and read that again.
yeah,
Make
yeah.
sure we got it.
Okay, so I said chilling with my homie Adrian Grenier before my show. We about to get it at Empire Control Room, which was at South by Southwest. Scotty the Kid checked out your tunes, good stuff. Thanks for giving love to the skins in Rec Room. Catch you on recroomrecords.com because that was his record company
Yeah.
in New York City. And at the time, and at that time, I don't know if you remember the song the Harlem Shake by Bauer,
Mm-hmm.
which was
Mm-hmm.
like do 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 do. So
Huge in
actually
10 or
yeah, in
11,
like trap,
12.
yeah, 10,
Yeah.
11 trap world. So him and we had a mixtape called Money Bauer Respect at the time. So we released that mixtape like literally right after the
Whoa.
Harlem Shake went viral. So people were like
Yes.
discovering me through that too. Cause I used to be like a trap punk rock rapper. Like that was kind of like my brand is like I'd use trap music, but then cause I had a live drummer and we'd do breakdowns, people were like, dang, this has like an
Yes.
element of like a stick like rock, like heavy bass. You know, I kind of mashed up trap music and rap and rock. Like that was my thing, you know.
Yes.
So it was cool. It's fun.
My
Good
Sounds
times. But
my
really good. I want to listen to your music
that was
now.
so
Is
that
it
music is
available?
got like no, it's all
Oh
like I
man.
after well, let me tell you why. Because since I became awakened to the truth and since I've really been on this journey, I switched. So
yeah.
like back in the day, like I would say before I fully was awakened, I had probably like 25, 30,000 followers, something like that. And they all knew me for my music, for DJing. I hung out with like I said, pro skaters. They would tag me, and it was just kind of like that community. And people were like, oh, this Hollywood skater DJ kid. And also I worked for Viacom for several years. I did art department and set
Really?
design and set dressing. Yeah. So like I was in Hollywood doing that, like that was my regular job was like art department for film
What
production.
sets did you design or
I worked on
dress?
Nickelodeon sets, Disney sets. I worked on a lot of like one-off independent TV shows, reality shows a lot, and a lot of them because they were just like on location. It was fairly easy. It wasn't like on like you weren't on a sound stage. But I did work on sound stages, but I did a lot of like independent. This is when like Awesomeness TV, I don't know if you heard of that. It was a
I
huge
have.
YouTube channel. So
Huge.
I worked for Awesomeness TV and I did a bunch of their reality shows. I was like their set dresser and like I said, it was just on location. So I'm just grabbing props and stuff like that. It was
Scott,
fun.
Scott, can you put this pyramid and slice of pizza on Dan
Oh my
Schneider's
God.
desk, please? Can you do that?
Dude, jeez, bro, horrible. That would be awful. And that's the thing is they're like, bro, you worked on a Nickelodeon show, you worked on a Disney show. I actually worked on JoJo Siwa's birthday show. And like that was one of the sets I worked on as a set designer. And like, even now, like even then, not being awake, I still have
Yeah.
morals. If I still saw things. Now, one thing that I did see often all the time was just the gay agenda. Like that was just everywhere all the time. Like it was normal to me. And I even was like, I was like, whatever, you know, what people want. The bottom line is that whatever people's sexuality is or whatever, that should always be behind closed doors no matter what. Straight people, I don't want to hear about straight people having sex, much less gay people having sex. It's like it doesn't have concern me. That's your private business. So for
Well,
it to
the identity politics thing is a huge part of the programming to keep us like divided
100%.
and separated.
Of
I will agree
course.
with that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I always was like, hey, you know what? I'm cool with gay people. I'm cool with trans people. I'm not a hater person. I don't have a lot of hate in my heart where I'm like, oh, you're disgusting because you're trans. I'm like, you're confused. That's your journey. You're on your own journey. It's not, I'm not the one here to judge you. I'm not going to be like, you're going to hell, bro, because you're gay. Like, and this is me then. And even now, I just am like, I just don't believe in like just going in on people from hate. Like you
Yeah.
can say your piece from love, but just don't go if it's coming from a hateful place. It's very obvious when it's coming from a hateful place. And so I always was like, look, I don't care what people are doing. That's your private business, But like I said, working on these sets and all this, I did see how they constantly made it a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, like even like the DEI thing, like, oh, you're gay and black. It's like I don't care who you're having sex with. Like if you're getting a
Right.
job because you're putting a penis in your ass over the guy that's more qualified who's sleeping with the woman, like that's bullshit to me. That's stupid. Like I don't
Have
agree with
have
that.
have
Like
you
whoever's
seen
most qualified should get the job, no matter what color, what sex, what your identity is, nothing. Like who's the best at doing it should get it.
have you seen Sam Tripoli's comedy clip at the Comedy Store where he's got a gay heckler? Have you
And he's
seen
like,
that?
bro, you work at Starbucks, you're broke. I did Sam's podcast in 2020,
Nice.
actually. So I started the when I did the Save Our Children marches, and that was kind of like the big splash for me. So I don't know if you guys knew that,
Really?
but
I was,
I
yeah.
started I would say like it wasn't all I couldn't do it all myself, but I put the date, I put the time. I was like, we're doing this on this time. And
That's
so it
awesome.
actually circles back to what I was saying with like how I got here on this journey. So like I had like 20, 30,000 followers at that time when COVID was like, mind you, my mom's awake. My mom's been awake for years. My grandmother's awake. She's been awake for
Nice.
years. My great grandmother was like the
Whoa.
seed. So in the front of the book, it's dedicated to Claudine. You'll see her. That's my
Here
great
it
grand.
is.
Yup.
I'll find it.
Let's go. Yeah. So
So,
she was the one, she was awake, bro.
is
She
this
was
your
talking about
native
the
side?
this is my white side. So I have native on both sides actually. So my dad
What type of
is like
native?
Arapaho is my tribe.
Arapaho.
Yep.
Here we go.
There it
Here it
is.
is.
Mama. Yeah, yep. So she was the first, she was awake, bro. She was talking about the New World Order and the mark of the beast. And she was like, the credit cards is just the beginning of the mark of the beast. One day they're gonna track everything you buy and everything. And my mom was a little girl when my great grandmother was saying this, and
Wow.
my
Wow.
mom was even like,
Yeah.
she's crazy. Like she had read the Bible front and back a million times, so she was like, it's all in here. It's all in here. You guys just don't know. She was like, you're going to live through a time that's like it's going to be dystopian, everything's going to be backwards, and like this is in like 70s 60s, you know what I mean? Like this is old, like a long time ago. So so my they've been awake. I wasn't awake. So I grew up in church, didn't like the way the church really treated people that didn't weren't in the same class as them financially. And my
Yes.
family, I grew up very low class, poor basically. And also that was because my mother was sick. My mom's a two-time survivor of breast cancer. So we had like every time, like when we thought we were getting a leg up, we got hit with cancer again. And it was just constantly like we grew up like that. Like that's why I'm so close to my family, because we did not have anything but each other, really. So I grew up like that. I didn't like the way the church treated us. I got out of the church. I like moved to Hollywood with my sister, and I was like, I'm on my journey. I know how to work. I had already had a job since I was 16. I was like, I left the house as a teenager. I'm like, I can handle my bills. I know how to work and hustle and live. So I lived in Hollywood, and I would say from the age of like 18 to 30, I just lived in Hollywood and was like, I don't believe in God. I'm not like none of this. Like I just was like so turned off to Christ just in as a whole, to where even in 25 years old, 26 years old, I'm like, calling myself an atheist. I'm like, oh, I don't believe in God at all. Like, it's just energy and and the stars and this and that. And how can this be explained? How can that be explained? And I'm just kind of like, and this whole time, my mom's like, who do you think created it all? Like, there has to be a creator. There's no way all of this is by chance. And so they're praying for me, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I don't want to hear it. Like, kind of. And then something when my son's mother got pregnant, things got like, okay, I need to set an example for this kid. So like, let me just really dive back in. Sorry, it's loud. I just like to be outside, but the trash man's behind me.
No, no, it's
We couldn't
fine.
hear it.
It's
Oh,
probably
okay,
it might
perfect.
get loud on our end too
Okay,
because we're
okay.
in a
I'm in
library.
Tartaria back here, if you can't
Oh,
tell.
okay, I see you. All right. Literally, look at that building behind you. I
I
see it.
mean, it is Kentucky,
Michael,
so
Yeah, yeah.
lean
Oh,
back, and
that's
then you can see
cool.
it better. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you
don't
Oh, that's
talk
go.
dope.
about don't talk about Freemasons and Jesuits.
I love it with the outline of your body, the silhouette. That's good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
no, so
Anyway,
like so when COVID happened, like first of all, I was like,
But your son being
what
born
yeah,
changed your
yeah,
perspective.
when
Yeah.
she was pregnant, I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm doing. Like I can't just roam anymore. Like I gotta like this is a big deal. And so I actually like something in me was like, I'm here, just talk to me. Like just it's on you. And so I really had honestly not going too deep into it, I had like a supernatural experience where I got to talk to God, and it was like a full conversation, and I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. And I mean, I'm feeling physical things that I'm just like, whoa, like this is like I'm feeling the Holy Spirit, and I'm like, whoa, like this is real. Like he's real. Like he's really been here this whole time. He's like, I've been with you the whole time, and you knew it deep down. You just were fighting it, and that's on you. Like free will. Like I. And so I talked to God, and like I had a very clear message when I spoke to God, and God was like, because I was concerned about things not working out with my son's mother and this and that, and I knew that she wasn't the right fit. But then I'm having this child with her, and like all these things. So you know, God was literally like, I was like, I need instruction. I need clear, please. And it was like, your son's mom's not for you. You need to let that go now. Like, just let that go. That's just not going to be good for you. That's not your person. Let it go. And it was like, also just like use your voice. Like you have a voice, whether you know it or not, just use it to speak my truth. Like
Yes.
that's what you have to do now. And I was like, but like, what do you mean? And I'm just like, and God's like, you know what I mean. And at that time, I started to uncover a lot of the human trafficking, like all kinds of stuff. I was like, I
Whoa.
started to like see and hear, and I was like digging a little and going down rabbit holes a little. And this is right before COVID. And I was like, man, there's something weird going on. And like and God's like, listen to that, like go deeper that
yeah,
direction. Like,
yeah. This
please.
is a
And,
very
and you,
similar. This feels very similar to Michael and our recent journey too. Like just the steps that you took, like you were saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
you just gotta, and then you listen.
you helped awaken me because we were in Hollywood during that COVID thing, and me and Mason Pryor, which is Richard Pryor's son, he's a great guy,
Mm-hmm.
love him. We filmed a movie together too, but we had just got funding for a project, and we were going to have a meeting with the investors on Monday. Well, Monday's when they shut down all the restaurants in LA, and we
Crazy.
had we had a buddy call us on. It was like a Wednesday. He was like,
The
"Hey, dude."
timing.
He's like, "Hey, dude, my
Yeah.
connection in
Yeah.
DC said that they're shutting every LA restaurant down." So I was kind of more in that mindset. I had just got to town really in 2018, and I was writing scripts and trying to get people to
Hmm.
be in it and this and that. So yeah, that's when I started to get tuned in. But I could really
Right.
relate to you because you helped wake up a lot of people just with your information.
Around
Oh,
around what was the time when that was happening to you? Like when you
So
were speaking to
around like
God?
oh yeah,
like
yeah.
so I started to, I would say like it was okay. So when I found out my son's mom was pregnant, that kind of like I was like, okay, things are gonna get real. Then my son, and then I still like was kind of like seeing and hearing things, but I just didn't touch on them because I was like, I don't know, like this sounds crazy, like exactly the way people write us off. That's a conspiracy. That's
Yeah,
crazy. There's
exactly.
no way that's real. And so I kind of was like, I kind of like put it in the back of my mind. I was like, that's kind of weird, but I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like I could be. This could be someone putting me onto some BS. I don't know what's going on. But I was like, something in me was like, that's weird. Like the trafficking stuff and like this and that. And then seeing things happen, I was like, but then I didn't want to know about it. Cognitive dissonance. I was like, I don't even want to
Right.
get into that. So, and then I would say around then COVID hit.
Right.
And then when
Yeah.
COVID hit, it triggered something in me that was like, this has to be way bigger than just this illness. They're doing something else now. And then that also, then I was like, what's really going on here? And then obviously everything shut down at that point. I like did listen to God, and I was like, oh, I gotta end this relationship, and I gotta figure out. And I moved like 3 times during COVID trying to like make things work and make, just trying my best to, and God basically kept being like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna, I told you it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Just let it go. Let it go. And I'm like, I don't want to. My kid needs his mom and dad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
That's
your
so
person,
hard.
bro. Like
Yeah.
I already
That's
told
so
you, it's
hard,
not gonna
man.
work. Oh, it was so hard, bro. And I moved from like Hollywood to South LA to Koreatown to a second spot in Koreatown in the same building that had opened up. And then I moved back to Hollywood. So actually I moved like 4 times, 4 or 5 times. So during COVID, so no one could help me move. I had to do it all by myself. And this was just
Oh,
because, and God kept being like, I told you this is not it. Like this is not right. And so at that time, then I started to be like, you know what? I don't even like the production shut down. And I was like, I don't even, honestly, I don't even care what these people think of me, anyways. And I just was like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to really like study this and deep dive. And then at that point,
yes.
I had like started to come closer to God, and my mom and my family started to see it. And then my mom was like, you know, uh, speaking of, she's going to the
The prayers
laundry room.
have
Yeah,
worked.
yeah, exactly. And then I was like, hey, don't, seems kind of weird. That seems kind of weird. And she's like, I believe you're really like on a mission, and like, you're right. And let me tell you all that I know up to this point. And so she
Yes.
revealed a lot of things to me about the money system and what my great grandmother was teaching her, and this from Revelation, that from Revelations, like all of these things. And I was like, whoa, that sounds like right
Wow.
now. And she's
Wow.
like, it is right now. And I was like, whoa. And so then I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit what any of these people on social media think. I'm going to use my voice because God told me that that's what I'm supposed to do. So when COVID happened, I was like, here it is. Here's everything I've learned. And I started to put it out. And as I put it out, 15,000 followers overnight, gone. Like people were like, and it was like my liberal following, the people I had met in the field, and were like, oh, this guy. And now I'm like totally flipping on everything. And I'm like,
Probably the
oh, I'm
worst
like,
friends anyway.
Well,
of course. Yeah,
okay, but I
exactly.
just I
No,
I
no,
try
no
to
offense. My wife's from San
no, I
Francisco. I'm from Kentucky, so we like balance each other out. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
look at it. It's like a
It is a
fun
balance.
teasing. It's like, look at
Yeah, of
your
no,
course.
side. Oh, look at
I
your side.
well, honestly, for me now being on
And I
neither
jumped on her
side,
side for a bit.
no, but
Yeah,
being on the fact that I'm on neither side makes me feel compelled to
100%. Yeah,
always point out that that these sides don't
that there
exist.
are sides.
Same beast.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Same
yeah, yeah.
beast,
It's
different wings. Yeah.
100%. And that's where,
Yeah.
that's where I've come to a point where I'm like, people are like, damn, bro, you must be a doomer just the way your mentality is. I'm like, I'm not a doomer. And being black pilled is essentially learning, like, even like, first of all, being a truther is knowing that you're never going to know everything and leaving yourself open to learn more and to change your opinion. Because,
Yes.
like, as you learn information, you're going to sharpen your knowledge. And when you sharpen up, like, for instance, like, I didn't like Trump, then I like Trump, then I didn't like Trump, then I like Trump, and then Trump is like, oh, the list is a hoax. And I was like, you are so deep in this that like I
Right?
can't even look past it anymore. Not no
Right?
more. Like I'm
Dude,
good. I made
here's
that
one.
post where I burned all my MAGA
How
hats. I had a bunch of
Yeah.
merch. I
yeah.
got
Yep.
rid of all of it.
Yeah, yeah. That is the real pinnacle right there. And like I kind
Hmm.
of obviously I wasn't a fan of his for a very long time because I
Right,
was
right, right,
blue pilled first.
right,
But
right,
I also I had that aha moment when that happened too, not
right,
because
right.
like
Yes.
just because it kind of a light bulb went off in my brain was like this is such an obvious this is such an
Hmm.
obvious tell now that
Exactly.
the Dems, like that both Dems and Republicans have been
Right.
actively
Of
actively
course.
But
pressing
I
it.
but I always kind of knew you were just hoping that it would be, but like so what
Same.
I
Yeah.
know you're just like,
So
oh
you know
man,
how
on
they
the
say
and it was the
there's three sides?
anniversary. It was the
The anniversary?
anniversary of Hamilton being shot is when
Oh
he
dang, that's
yeah.
crazy. I didn't even
And then
see, and all that's
and that's
relevant
a year
too.
after the
Well, we know
assassination
that
because
because
our
that's our
son
son's birthday. Yeah,
Oh,
so we
what?
know.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
yeah,
so
Okay. Dang, that's wild.
at our son's
yeah.
birthday was the assassination attempt, and then that changed
Butler,
everything.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then a year
Hmm.
later, we're somewhere in Tennessee. What's the town in Tennessee? It was
Oh, Clinton. That place is
Oh
weird.
so
gosh, of course it's called Clinton.
Clinton. So get
Yeah, no,
this.
you don't even know.
What
It
was
used
it
to be
called?
called
It used
used
to
to
be
be called
called
Burrsville. Burrsville
Burrsville
after Aaron Burr.
after Aaron
After.
Burr.
Whoa, that's
And
wild.
when Burr shot the guy,
They changed
as
the
in
name.
That's
Hamilton.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
insane.
then
That's
they changed
crazy.
the name because he was
Yeah.
controversial at that point.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Of
isn't it
course.
funny
That's
that
insane.
it's kind of like even back then, which was like the early
Oh,
1800s or whatever, even back then they like would change names if somebody was offensive. Like I guess there was
Right.
cancel
That's a
culture.
form of Marxism.
yes.
I mean, it's a
Yes.
form of Marxism.
Yeah.
Like that's why you can't that's why I don't agree with like any like, so fun fact, my son is half black, so like that's another thing that's kind of interesting because I have very strong opinions and some people will be like, "Oh, bro," like, "Oh, well man, like that's racist." I'm like, my kid's black, so don't you think I want to set the world up for him to succeed? So I'm not
Right.
buying into the system's plan. If the system was really rigged against black people, there wouldn't be one black millionaire. That's just the bottom line, straight up. Like that's facts. And so people are like, oh, we should tear down the statues of everybody that the Confederacy and this and that. I'm like, no, that reminds you not to do it again.
Right.
Like that
Yeah.
like it's you can't deleting history is the way to then it only takes 3 generations to forget that ever happened, and then they're like,
Yeah.
maybe slavery is a good idea because they don't have the representation of like relearning and being like looking at it and being reminded, oh, we failed in this way, like we can't let that happen again. So that's why Marxists are constantly trying to delete and erase all of the history. Obviously you guys know that with your hidden history shows. It's it's a form of control, maybe not now, but with the power of eugenics and ideological subversion, excuse me, which is generational manipulation, you know. And that's really like the big secret when people have asked me, what's the biggest conspiracy? I'm like, over 100 years ago, 32 families turned to 16, turned to 10, turned to 9, or whatever, bloodlines. And they had, eugenics. Through the power of eugenics, they connected through noble birth. And then they created a monetary system. That's why the Titanic sank. The richest man on the Titanic was asked to create the Federal Reserve. Hey, we're going to create
Yes.
a Federal Reserve in America, and he was like, no, that's going to enslave the people, changing them from the barter system to now making them dependent off of money system, and creating a reserve is going to enslave them. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. And maybe the Titanic sank because it hit an iceberg. Maybe it didn't because Jacob Astor didn't want to start the Federal Reserve. Then 2 years to the day Titanic sank, the Federal Reserve actually started. And the Federal Reserve and the IRS are actually privatized companies that aren't even owned
Yes.
by America. They're owned by England.
And it
So
wasn't
like,
even the Titanic that sank. It was the other one. They switched the
oh,
boat
the
names.
Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
the
was an
Olympia. So
insurance fraud or insurance
yeah,
grab to for the money.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
and then that's what I told you. I'm like, so, we've all seen the thing that's like strong men create good times
Yes.
create
Yeah.
weak men create hard times create strong men. It's the cycle. And that's why it takes 3 generations to, if it takes 3 generations to break down a society. And we're right now on the last one. Like, our great grandparents were manipulated,
Oh, I
and
see.
our grandparents were manipulated, and our parents were manipulated, and now they're trying to do their power grab because they're like, okay, the programming has been generationally manipulated. Now we're at year 65. Isn't it interesting to look at the boomers that were like peace and love, no war, and now they're like get vaccinated or you're, get out of here. It's like, whoa, you were totally anti-establishment. Now you are the establishment. Like, isn't that
Yes,
flip kind of
yes.
weird to you? Like,
It
to
is
me, it's
very
weird.
weird. I
Yeah.
also think that the flip between like I mean, remember how popular like Rush Limbaugh and like the Tea Party and
Hmm.
stuff was with those
Right, right,
guys?
right. Huge. Yeah.
And now to flip to MAGA, which is so like opposite of
Right, right,
that, and
right,
they're in
right,
bed
right.
with like Elon Musk and all the
Yeah, yeah,
tech
yeah,
billionaires.
exactly. Yeah,
What?
it's just yeah, and that's why also, we've all heard there's three sides to every story. There's your side, my side, and the truth, right?
Yes.
And now it's the red side, the blue side, and the truth. So we are now the truthers that are not right, not left. We are the third, we are the truth. Like, and that's why it's like, that's the realization that people and tons of my audience were like, I went to the inauguration in January, man. Like, I was there. Like, I was fully in it. And even at that point I thought we were getting a change. And it's not like, oh, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh my God, if I was really drinking the Kool-Aid that much, I would still be supporting Trump. And
Yes.
people say, well, isn't it better that Trump's the president than Kamala? Yeah, I can agree with that, but at
Maybe.
the end, to some degree, well, because the only argument I have there is that she definitely was trying to take our guns, and Trump's like, you can keep your guns.
Well,
I'm gonna screw you guys in every other way, but
I think a Kamala presidency would have led to like just the exact same thing happening, but us being like more in the dark about it. I think
right,
that
right, right, right,
I
yeah.
mean, I
yeah,
was I
yeah,
was watching the debates and it's still going to that one country that you're not allowed to criticize.
of
And if you
course, yeah.
do criticize that one country and you're Thomas Massey, then they take out your wife.
Right, right, of course. Yeah,
So,
100%. And I mean, and that's the thing. So right now we live in a society where, like I said, my great grandmother was like, everything's going to be backwards. What's up is down, what's left is
yes.
right, what everything. So right now this is the greatest psyop of gaslighting on a mass hypnosis scale that's ever been happening
Yes.
in the future, in the history of humanity. Whatever they're saying, it's exactly the opposite. Whatever they accuse you of is what they're
Yes.
doing. And so
Well,
that's why they're like, these
that makes a lot
Nazis.
of
And I'm like,
sense.
yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. It's I feel uh like a normal everyday person if they sat and listened to this, they might think like, "Whoa, you're kind of catastrophizing, you're blowing this out of proportion, blah blah blah." But think about it. When have we ever had this much easy access to computer information, internet
hmm
at our
hmm
fingertips on our phones and social media?
right,
And so it's actually not as difficult as you would think to
exactly.
mass psyop us, basically mass
Exactly.
brainwash
Yeah.
us.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. And also everything they thought would hurt us actually flipped on them. They thought, okay, we're going to trigger COVID. We're going to scare every single person into, complying. And what it did was those of us that have discernment and have Christ
Yes.
said, hold on a second, something else is going on here. And more of us did that than they wanted. So like, they I think that they pushed the button on COVID a little too early. If they would have held out a little longer, some of us might have walked into that lines then more willingly. But I think because they triggered it, they were like, it's the third, fourth generation. We tricked the other three. Let's pull it. Let's see what we can get them to do. And what COVID did was it awakened millions more people than they thought was going to be awakened. Same thing with AI.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
Millennials
AI,
especially. I think it really woke
definitely
up millennials. And it's so
100%.
interesting. It's so interesting that you mentioned that it backfired on them. Because I go over this over and over again with in my head with Michael. Like, I'm not 100%. I don't, I don't agree with everything you're saying. I don't agree with everything Michael's saying, but I don't know what the actual, like, I don't know. I don't know what I don't
Yeah,
know. And I'm open to new information. Right.
exactly. And that's how you
But
stay a truther.
exactly. But what's so cool about what happened with COVID is that is that millennials just hit they were like as soon as we were allowed to have a break, we were like,
Right,
"Oh,
right.
My
oh, the way we
so
live sucks actually. And why are
my
Yeah,
we doing
literally.
this?"
my
Yeah.
buddy my buddy Trevor, who's doing comedy shows at Fat Sal's, um, he had a friend at the Super Bowl in LA. He snapped a picture of the LA mayor, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, all of them standing in a tight circle talking with all those
Hmm.
ordinances in place. So
Yeah.
he snaps a picture and then Trevor posts it and then it goes viral. And that's what got the
Yeah.
LA mayor fired
Yeah.
is
Rules for
because
thee, but not for me. That's the way it
exactly,
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Right,
a
right.
and then another thing I wanted to share, you know the movie The Little Rascals?
Yeah.
So we rewatched that for family movie night and Trump's in it. And
That's right. At the end, I remember that.
yeah, yeah. And it's all about like
He,
rockets and race. There's a rocket analogy you could make with Elon Musk.
Oh,
But
uh-huh.
but anyway, they're running. Alfalfa's in his underwear running, right? He's running, and then Heidi go and well, at the beginning of the movie, we're like, dude, this sounds kind of Masonic. Like
I
Little
Yeah.
I
Rascals.
said I
Yes,
said that
yes.
the Little
Yeah.
Rascals was giving me major Freemason vibes
Yeah,
because it's
because
like an
they're
all
Yeah.
like
boys club.
they're like, oh boys, we hate women, blah blah blah. So
Hmm.
then
Oh, wow.
so
Totally.
and then there's a whole bug hole rabbit hole that you could go down. It's really sad abuse and stuff. But he's in his underwear and she paused it. And there's the Freemason Lodge in Burbank in the frame.
Of course, bro.
And then
Yes, yes.
we go into
They
Penelope
can't help
Spheris.
themselves, bro.
Penelope Spheris, the director, her dad was like deep into the circus. And the
Oh
circus
my
is
gosh,
like
yeah.
Oh,
clowns,
Pete
Freak show.
clowns,
Carnum?
The freak
Are
clowns,
you
show,
kidding?
yeah.
clowns
Yeah.
are fallen angels. It's a three-ring
It's a
circus.
ritual, bro. It's a ritual.
It's Solomonic
Yeah.
witchcraft stuff. The whole
Yeah, it
circus
is,
thing.
bro. It's
Barnum
the
and
cabal,
Bailey.
bro.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
So
Dang.
anyway, I
And
So,
it's,
wanted to
but
yeah,
throw that
almost
in.
everything. Yeah, it's crazy how all that, like almost everything damn near you can
Yes, I
catch.
know.
Yeah.
I
I was
know.
watching
But
Tombstone the other day with my wife, and he's wearing a Freemason necklace in Tombstone. And I'm
No. Who
like,
is?
bro, in Tombstone, one of the guys that's fighting with Wyatt Earp towards the end, my girl goes, "Pause, run it back." And I run it back, and it's the Freemason logo on his chain. And this is the movie Tombstone from
Which
like the
character?
90s. Um, it's one of the guys that flips from the Red Gang that starts to help Wyatt at the end.
okay, well,
So
Gotcha.
we're
he's like,
looking that up.
I'll actually send it to you,
Yeah.
Michael, because it's
Okay.
Yeah.
really like I was like, what?
We said this
So
in our
deep.
last podcast, but in the movie Face Off, we saw that like at one point John Travolta is writing in a journal, and in the journal it says 9/11, September 11th, like 2001 right
Oh, the
there.
quote's
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
dude.
It's like an
It's
ancient
the
knowledge quote.
yeah, yeah. It's the predictive programming,
Yeah.
as well. Like they're like, Neo's passport in the Matrix was issued on September 11th, 2001.
What?
Bro, go look it up.
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah, I've seen that clip. I've seen that clip. It's true.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
So the
crazy.
the Super Mario Brothers movie, like the '94 with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it cannot be found. You can't even find it on
No
Amazon, Netflix,
way.
nowhere. And then as you know, there's a clip on YouTube where
I love
Bowser or
YouTube.
whatever, the twin towers are behind him and he snaps his fingers and they disappear.
No way, dude.
Yes, that's why
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't find it anywhere.
Right. And
But
so
did
that's
we talk
also
about this on our last podcast? We need to we need to mix up our content a little here.
no, that's
Anyway,
epic though. I didn't even
yeah.
know that. Like, and that's the thing
Because I
too.
was
Like,
like, I love that movie. Where can I find it? Nowhere.
right. It's funny because
YouTube.
Leguizamo is like deep on the left too, just like losing his mind, like about like,
Well, you
just
don't get a Broadway show if you're not that way.
facts, 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 facts. Yeah, I mean that's like the full submission too. That's the thing where I'm just like and people, even my friends that are close to me that I did run around Hollywood with, they're like, damn, bro, like even though I agree with you and I can't like your content, you're my boy. Like, aren't you? What about like losing? I was like, bro, COVID happened. I don't give a shit about this film production anymore. Who cares? Oh, they're not gonna hire me to work on their set. I'm like, I don't care, bro. The truth means more, and like, I will. God will figure. God told me to use my voice like this. So I'm going to use it like this and we're going to just see what happens. You know, like I'm just going to see what happens. And it really like filtered out a lot of people, and a bunch of new people have
Yes.
obviously like 75% of my engagement every month is non-followers.
Wow.
Literally, statistically,
Well, yeah,
75% is
yeah. That
they're
makes that's really that means you're doing good because that's pretty much how the platforms like they've changed the way the platforms work. Like
right, right, right.
your follower count almost doesn't even matter now at this point
No, it's true. Yeah, yeah.
because
I
you're
don't even, yeah,
because everybody just looks at their it's a discovery based platform. Everybody's just looking at their
exactly.
FYPs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And so that's where I'm like, okay, like the truth is bigger than me now. Someone even commented on my page yesterday and was like, bro, like I've been following you for so long. This is what you look like. And I was like, because I posted a live and they're like, I've never seen your face. And I was like, dang, even my post about the book and the pin things and this and that doesn't mean that they're seeing that.
Right.
So,
It's not
you
Oh
going
know,
to
I
yeah,
was like,
spread.
that's the part that sucks is like you'll start to get a little popularity and virality for some of your posts, but
mhm,
then sorry, are you guys hearing a person scream while
No,
I
no, we're
talk?
not
Okay.
hearing
Oh,
anything.
good. That's good. Sorry.
yeah. No, you're good.
But you might start to get a little bit of that, but then as soon as you try to like show something you're actually passionate about, like a
Yeah.
product you want, they're like, "Oh, you're
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
sell something?" There
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
your
exactly.
engagement.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
exactly,
no.
100%. Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of that's kind of where I'm like blessed. I feel like even in this niche because I've been able to mix in the content and be like, I talk about this in my project. I talk about this as you guys have seen, I'm sure. Oh, it's I put this in my book. I put that in my book. I put this in my book. And so as things have popped off, like I did a post about the Titanic, you
Yeah.
know, and it got over like 1 million plays, and I put it in the caption like, oh, I mentioned this in my book, and people are like, hey, you talk about the what else do you talk about? And I'm like everything, the vaccine schedule, the chemtrail schedule, this and that. And they're like, whoa, what? Like I want to read this. And that's why a lot of people, I'm like, but let me clarify, I'm like, it is a fiction novel. And I'm like,
Yeah. It's
it's just
fiction.
the
Yeah, that's
Trojan
I
horse of
just
truth.
found that out. I just found that out
Yeah.
before we started
Show
the
him,
podcast. The whole this
show
whole
him,
time. No,
show
I
him
know
the
I'm about
psyop. Show him the psyop
dude,
version of his book.
stop cutting me off when I'm literally saying what you're interrupting me to say, dude. Anyway,
Show him.
yeah,
No, you're
no,
good.
I thought your book was nonfiction. So when he was reading it on the plane, I showed him what I grabbed at the airport on the plane, the newest Dan Brown.
That's
It's
cool.
the
The Secret of
newest
Secrets.
Dan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he's like
Amazing. Sick.
The Da Vinci
Please
Code
read
author.
that for me. I'll definitely eventually
I
read that
well,
too,
no, but
but
this
I
is the
want
thing. I was like one chapter in on the plane, and I was like, Michael, there's so much propaganda in this. Like, this is
oh
like
man.
designed. That's what's so sad is I feel like you know how there's like controlled opposition, right?
Right,
That's
right.
I feel
it.
like Da Vinci Code is like using a huge. I feel like Dan Brown uses a huge amount of the truth, but then makes you feel like you're getting some kind of inside information, and then tells you secretly, and then like the answer is, you
Yeah.
know, whatever the CIA wants you to
Right.
believe.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And that's, and that's why I'm like Hangman Hanks is there's a reason he's the main dude in the movie, like
Oh,
there
I
it's like
Oh,
know. I was so
using the same
disappointed with that.
actors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
dude.
using
like
those
I was a Dan
actors.
Brown fan. I was a Dan Brown fan before those movies. When they cast him, I was like, yeah. But
The
no, but what I called this was, or I said I was like, your book is probably like the non-psyop version of a Dan Brown book.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just tried to put it in a digestible way for people because I'm like, here's it, and this is the way it worked. And like, I literally had the book done earlier this year in January, and then I'm like doing final edits, and I'm like, I need to, I'm a blue collar worker. Like, I work for, I do private security, but I'm also doing private security for a very specific job right now that like I have a contract with them. So I'm working on this contract with them, and it's essentially blue collar stuff. I'm just like in charge of checking people in and out of this place, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm working this regular schedule, this job. I'm like, I'm paying on this house. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. Like, I have all this stuff going, and I'm just like, I don't have an extra 5 or 10 grand to go print these books at the moment. And so I just was like, God, like, help me figure this out. And so, my dad actually had a friend who's 85 years old. she's retired, and she's like, I met her before, and she's really sweet. And my dad had mentioned to her that, oh, my son wrote this book, and like, he's trying to, and she's like, oh, I would love to read it. And so I sent her a digital version, and without like, hey, invest in my project. I just was like, oh, she's 85. She's probably going to be like freaked out by the stuff in this book because, who, like, I would imagine she's not, I didn't get a liberal vibe. I didn't get her, but she just retired. She's chilling, she's not deep in anything. She's just enjoying the last run or whatever, so to speak.
Right,
So
right.
I sent it to her, and she's like, I can't stop reading this. This is so good. And she was like, and you're getting a way polished version. She was getting the rough version that was like before the final edits and stuff. So she was like, I have to ask you, is this true? Like, I'm at this part. Is this real? And I was like, I don't know. You're gonna have to look it up. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like trying to red pill her a little bit, or I mean black pill at this point. But I was like, I don't know. And so she starts to cross check the information, and she also worked for a newspaper for many years as a writer, and her husband was in the Marines. So she comes from that background, and she was
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that this was a real thing. And then she got deeper, 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 and she's like, please tell me this isn't true. And I was like, look it up, CIA programs and this and that. And then she's like, what? Oh my goodness. Like, she was like, she finished the book, and she was like, this whole book awakened me to what's really going on in the world. And I was like, if it can awaken an 85-year-old woman who's really like not really even in, she does watch CNN. I guarantee that. You know what I mean? And she's sitting there, and she's just like
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
about these programs, and she has the time. She's cross-checking all
Michael,
this
you need
information.
to, yeah, Michael, you need to get your mom to read it. Sorry to
Yeah, yeah.
interrupt.
No,
Yeah,
it's
my mom
okay.
will read
No,
it.
you're totally good. So she gets to the end, and she's just like, now I'm questioning everything. So I turned her low key into like a truther, and she's like, I can't. Now I've just been like researching all of this, and now I'm seeing how deep these rabbit hole goes. She goes, now I get it. The rabbit on the cover, the rabbit holes, and this and that, and da 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 da. And she's like, how can I help you with this project? And I was like, well,
Whoa.
I don't know if you have a few grand laying around, but I really need to print the physical copies, and like, it's going to cost me several thousands of dollars to do, and I don't have that just on standby hanging out right now, And she was like, how much do you need? I'll I'll go in on with it on you. And she's like, I'll just give you a loan. You don't even need to give me a percentage. I was like, no, I'm giving you a percentage. So I wrote her in a contract between me and her, and I gave her a percentage of my sales, small
Nice.
percentage. She didn't
Oh,
want
wow,
any,
that's really nice.
yeah.
That's
So I was like,
nice of
no,
both of
I'm gonna
you.
give you, yeah, nicer. Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
no, if you're gonna put money up, like, she's like, no, it's just a loan. I was like, no, it's an investment. I'm still gonna break you off something. Like, that's not fair. And she's like, no, it's not about that. Like, I really believe in your project, and I was like, okay, but either way, we're doing it. And she's like, okay, fine. And so I was like, all right, cool. So that's how I even got the money to print the physical copies. And so,
So it's a
and that's
blessing.
Wow, that feels like God
totally,
working for
yeah,
you,
no,
right?
definitely, no,
Yeah.
100% it was God. I was like,
Yeah.
this is God's work. It's no way else, no way it's anything else. And so, that's how it ended up coming about, actually making these copies. And so that's why I was like, dang, like, if that worked on an 85-year-old person who's really like not has zero interest in really this stuff, I'm like, it can almost work for anybody. And she was like, she's like, I feel so connected to these characters. She's like, it's
Yes,
hard for
yeah.
me to even believe that they weren't real people. And I said, well,
Yeah.
let me explain. I was like, to be honest, the the realness or the authenticity you get, I was like, Manny, Connor, Roderick, and Will are all parts of my personality. Like, I base them off of like parts, like Manny is like the vulnerable, this side of me that is like can be scared to do things, to say things, to speak up, to Roderick has kind of like this raw, like, I don't give a shit type like energy, like I gotta take care of me, I gotta protect mine. And there is a
Yeah.
part of me that is kind of has been like that. And then Connor is like the like has been hurt and by his own, and
Yeah.
has kind of like doesn't really trust anyone, and still is kind of like, even though you seem cool, deep down in my mind I still think at some point you might try to screw me over or lie to me or hurt me, and I don't want to trust you. And that's kind of like the truther in me, who's also kind of like, like, can I trust this person? Like, is
Right,
this person
right.
just being like talking to me? Do they want not even, there's not, they can't take anything financially from me because I don't got it, but do they like, are they trying to manipulate me? Like, I have that like paranoia as a truther when I meet and talk to people. I'm like, is this person actually like deep in this other world trying to like pull me into theirs? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Protecting my energy. And
Yep.
then Will is kind of just like that goofy, like, what's up, guys? Like, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I'm me. And Will's the most, I would say, actually like my personality because that's who I am. I'm like funny and I make jokes and I play around. So I told her, I was like, I just went like extra deep on each of those parts of my personality and created and carved out individual characters. And she was like, wow, like, I feel like they were real, like they are real people. I just don't like, it's crazy to me that you could write about somebody that's not actually real and I can see them, feel them. And I was like, cool. And that's why she was like, I can't believe this is like your first book. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, it's my first book, and then um I have a so like without saying too much, I did do private security for some very high profile people the last few years.
Yeah.
And one of them is actually an executive at a major film studio in Los Angeles, like major, like Sony level major. And I connected with one of his partners. Me and him got super cool just on the security friendly tip. And then I'm like working on the book, and I'm like, in between times, I'm just like writing. And he's like, "What you working on?" I'm like, "Oh, I started writing this book because I wanted to make it a film." And my friend told me, so the director friend I talked to was like, "This isn't a movie, bro. This is a TV show." He was like, "This is a TV show. You're not going to get
That's right.
everything you want to put in this." He's like, "You're not going to get it out in a movie. It's going to be a 5 hour movie. It's just not going to work. This is a TV show. Write the book." I'm like, "I never written a book." He's like, "Write the book, bro. You're going to have more than enough information to create whatever you want from there, but you need to write the book." I'm like, ah, and that's when I started it 2 years ago. So last year, I'm like finishing it, and I get cool with this guy. Like me and him get cool on, so like, and this is his like partner. And I'm like not there thinking, oh, I'm gonna pitch this guy my story and I'm gonna make it a movie. Like I'm not even thinking that. I just became cool with him. We're getting coffee together. We're just like hanging out. Hey, how's your book coming? Oh, it's good. One day he's like, I got some time, bro. Like, pitch me. And I was like, pitch you. And at this point, in between writing my book, I started carving out episodes and doing the soundtracking and the shot list. I worked in film production, so I know how to
Nice.
format a show. So I'm formatting the first season, and I was like, all right, bro. We sat there for almost 2 hours, bro, and I'm walking him through the shots, the shot list, the soundtrack, the mood, the everything, the
Dang.
visual, bro. And it's over an hour, and I'm like, bro, we've been here an hour. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, dude, keep going. I'm invested. Keep telling me. So I'm like, okay. So I get to like the first couple of episodes, and he's like, bro, this is insane. Like, this is what we need to be doing. Like, we threw 30 million at 10 movies last year that flopped. Like, this and then so at this point, I only knew that his partner was an exec. I don't know what level, what department, what any of that. I just was like, oh, do security, drive him there, donut, whatever. The partner ends up being like, do you know specifically what I do? And I was like, honestly, no. Like, I don't talk to you guys about your work because that's not our relationship. And he's like, I'm literally the head of TV finance and operations for this company. And when I tell you
Nice.
it's one of the top 10 biggest film production companies in the world, it literally is. And so he's like, I literally greenlight TV shows. And I was like, he's like, finish your book. And I was like, whoa. He was like, yeah, bro, finish your book. I had a meeting with him last
Wow.
week. I brought him the book, and I was like, and he's like, me and my guy are really excited to read this and see where you go with it. Because, and the executive, he brought me in, not to work for him, brought me in to sit down and talk with him. And he was like, so he's telling me about this, this, and that. And he was like, he knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for many years. If he says it, I believe it. Let's read. Let me get this book. Let me get my hands on. Let me finish up this year. Let me see what's going on. And, without saying too much, this book in digital form is on its way to Mel Gibson's team right now as we speak.
No
So
Holy
way.
shit. Holy
yes,
shit.
yes, bro, yes. And it's not, I'm not like, I wouldn't be gassing it. I'm not, oh, I'm a truther, bro. So Mel's working on Passion of the Christ 2 right now as we speak. And it's going to probably take about a year plus, but his team is going over this project through the end of this year. And in a perfect world, Mel would jump in as a producer or a director for my book to be can be made into a television show. That's in a perfect world. May not happen. They might not take any interest. But of all the people in the game, my guy from TV is like, we have deals with Netflix. We have deals with, he's like, we could take this to Angel Studios and do their first television series if we wanted to. He's like, we can go other places with this. We don't even have to stay here. So that's kind of
Just with your following on Instagram alone, you could do it independently. And
right. And I was, yeah,
I'm sure people would, I'm sure you could get a pretty significant budget just from people chipping in what they
right.
can.
And you know what? And with that being said, I also brought this up in my meeting. I said, I'm gonna put it out to my because they know about my audience and stuff. And I said, and also they're truthers, like hiding in plain sight. That's why I'm kind of like, oh, maybe we don't put in exactly where they're from,
This
because
this
but
this actually makes me feel better because for somebody to be that high up and produce something like this,
hmm
I don't know. It's
no, I
because
right, and
Well,
I
that's what
even
I
asked
was
about
gonna
that.
say is
because
I have to ask at any point in this interaction with this executive, did you ever get paranoid that you were being like fished for information or something?
No, because he was like, I know what's going on in the world. And I said, well, then how do you work? How do you work with these people if you're really outright like that,
yeah,
open about that? And he goes, what can they do? I own part of the company. He goes, whether they like it or not, doesn't matter. Like I bring millions every year to the table. There's nothing, I have tons, my success rate is so high. Like, and mind you, like I can't quote him because I'm not quoting him if you know what I'm saying. Like I don't
right,
want to
right,
say that
right.
I
Yeah, yeah,
studied.
yeah, yeah.
You get what I mean? So even this part of the podcast, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, we might have to blank out just so nobody connects the pieces because I'm just like I don't want to shoot myself in the foot before it gets going,
No,
But
let them.
I know. I'm just saying I don't, you know. So at this point, there's he's like there not he's so powerful that what they but right now he knows that there's a niche for this truth.
Well,
There's a niche.
monetary.
Yeah, yeah.
His hit rate, he's making so much money that that's really what matters.
Well,
That's
that's
what
what
I'm
Yeah.
I
getting.
was, but this is the thing. Like, there's so many different ways to spin this and look at this, and this has been something that I ruminate over with Michael a lot. Like the whole idea that if all of this is true, if everything that we've been talking about with the trafficking and the child essay and the
hmm
Pizzagate and all that and
Yeah,
Epstein
yeah.
and how it connects to certain
How would they
countries.
how would they ever
Yeah.
let it go mainstream?
What
Yeah,
Right?
exactly,
right.
exactly.
Right,
And
right.
you,
Money.
but also like just the fact that what basically what you're saying is if there's like good guys still out there in Hollywood, that means they know about the bad guys and just don't say
Right, right.
anything.
Right.
That
Well, I
too
mean,
is confusing to
because
me.
they, no, I hear you. And it's also like, well, are they going to hang themselves or do they want to like maybe slip in truth? Look at House of
That's
Cards.
what I'm saying. Are they doing like
House of Cards was
3D
like,
chess?
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Because I mean, House of Cards blew the whistle on a lot of government corruption. But look who's playing the main character, Kevin Spacey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the worst of them all. Like the
Yeah.
irony of that is insane, but also
Yeah.
like I know I hear what you're saying, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, is this playing both
I
sides of the
saw
fence to
I saw
No,
I saw
no.
Kevin Spacey at the Comedy Store watching Theo Vaughn. He was in a hood and he didn't want
whoa, that's a
anybody to see him. But you know what's interesting? I'll tell you my insider information because I showed my short film at a festival, and this dude in the audience was hammered. He was from Boston. It's like a big drinker guy. He worked at one of the top four agencies. So like William Morris, UTA, CAA, William,
yeah,
whatever. He's
yeah,
in
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those. And he goes, dude, your movie's so funny, man. I'm like, well, you're at one of these agencies. He's like, It's all BS, man. All the ideas
Exactly.
come from the top down, and then other people lie and claim that they did it and then get gassed up and get
Right.
promotions.
Yeah, I believe it.
But see, you already at the studio. So that would be the pitch to them. And then, yeah, so you're
That's
already
way better. Like
direct pipeline.
you were very fortunate with
No, of
that.
course, and that's
Yeah.
also part of God. And can I tell you that when Mangione shot and killed the guy in New York City, whether he did or
United
didn't, who
Healthcare.
knows?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows? Who knows if what's true or not about
Right,
that
right.
story? But
yeah.
either way, I got a call the next day from the partner and says, "Bro, your story is coming alive in real time." He was like, "How?" And I was like, I was like, God, bro, I don't know what else to tell you. And he was like, dude, like, how in the world, like, you're so on point. This story is like crazy. He's like, dude, I thought of you the second it happened. And that's why even like the release of my book, Charlie Kirk, the day before my book comes out, is assassinated. I'm like,
You're tuned
again,
in.
same. Yeah. I'm
Wait,
like, my
that was
fingers
the
on the
day
pulse.
before your book came
The
out?
day
Yeah.
before my book came
Wait,
out.
why did you make your book release 9/11?
Because in the story, it starts on 9/11.
That's so cool. I love
So I
that.
was thanks. And like, yeah, and even like every book comes with the New York City bookmark
That's
because I
right.
just wanted it to go along with the branding. So also like the this partner is also, like I said, was like, bro, I could put my name on this and we could take it somewhere else if they don't want to make it.
Yeah.
Like you, this is your story. You own this. And I self-published. That was another reason I needed the money, was because I needed to make physical copies. I started my own publishing company. So now I own my own publishing company. I had to open an S corp. I had to like do all of
Yes.
this stuff. My ISBN. I had to get my number. I had
Yep.
to do all this stuff myself. So, but that's like what was encouraged to me by the partner who was like, "Hey, do everything yourself, so we can do whatever we want
And
with this. Nobody else has control."
they'll steal it too because
Of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
I
I do have it copywritten. It is copywritten too.
but
Through like
that's probably why he wanted you to make copies and release it and send it out because
right, right, right.
now it's mainstream.
Now you can't
Yeah.
really just take it from me. You're
Yeah.
right. That's totally true too. Also, the thing was is that like I said, like, oh, another thing I mentioned to him too as part of the marketing is, let's say that we do end up making this. I Number one, I told him I want to be included on being part of the soundtrack, like the director of
Yes.
music. I want to be included in casting. I want to be, because I have a background in film production. So it's not like I'm just some guy that's like, yeah, give me the money for the project and I'm just gonna go away. Like, no, like this is my project. I want it to be told the way I want it to be told. And I was like,
I'll take it further. You need director. You need to direct it too.
definitely. No,
Yeah.
100%. Because I even mentioned, I was like, if Mel comes in, I want to co-direct. Like we can do it together. Like I know not too many cooks in the
Well,
kitchen.
that I
He
don't
is
think that'll
experienced.
happen, but
No, yeah,
Well,
that's
no,
co-direct.
what
He'll
I'm.
be
well,
like,
I
I
was
gotta
gonna
direct it.
say, Michael,
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I don't like
He'll be
I
like, I'm
think he
going
could
to
have
Puerto
his
Rico.
he could have his hand in the direction, but I don't know. Like if it's Mel
yeah.
Gibson, then just let Mel Gibson
That's
But
do it. I
exactly
don't
see,
know.
that's exactly what I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah,
too. Because
yeah.
he knows, Mel knows, really, really knows too. Like the depths of the sea. Like Mel really knows what's going on. So I also mentioned, I was like in the meeting, I said, here's another thing I'm going to say, that I want to put it out where I put out on my social media that I invite every single follower to be an extra.
Ooh, that's cool.
Every extra is a truther.
Yeah.
And we're gonna need extras. So anybody's gonna be like, dude, I'm in this movie, or I'm
That's
in this
very
TV show.
cute. You know what's
Yeah,
cute about that is it's like you already have your social media campaign like in the bag. You
yeah.
don't even have to hire a
A
firm or
hundred.
anything.
That's exactly what. And I also told him that I was like, we don't even have to go through these outlets to get extras. I literally will just put it out on my social media and we'll push that. Be here on this day. You'll get the 150 for the day. You'll get the lunch. We'll do the whole thing official. You'll get your SAG credit, or you have to have so much background to at least they'll start that. Oh, I'm starting my acting career as an extra in this guy's movie, like, or this show. So then I'm like, then the show itself, even with marketing on a major scale, obviously is going to be huge, but word of mouth of all of these truthers being like, hey, I'm an extra in this TV show. And then on top of that, the actors in the film, I said, in the show, I don't want there to be one actor or actress who's already well known. All new faces. so it doesn't distract away from the story. What happens when you see a famous actor in the beginning of a movie? Like I saw a movie the other day and there was an actor who's really famous in the very beginning and then it's like they disappear. And I'm like, they didn't disappear. They're coming back later in the movie because they're so famous that I know they're going to come back. What happens in the movie? They come back, "Oh, I didn't really die. I was here the whole time." I'm like, "Yeah." And my girl's like, "Oh, wow." I said, "See, that's why I don't want to put named people in my show because you know they're going to live long enough. You know they're going to make it through the show because we put up this huge contract to have there. No, I'm going to give all new actors a chance to let the story be told
Oh,
without being
I see.
distracted,
I see.
without
You
being
want the
distracted by them.
cast, so you want the cast to be less like lesser known people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to give
Did you
people a
know
chance
Michael?
to
Did you
really
know Michael and I were actors?
no, but I mean,
I'm just kidding.
you guys are more than invited to be a part of it. And that's really
The
where I'm
Finish
like, dude,
Line now streaming on
yeah,
Tubi. They give us
is
they
that
give us
your
Tubi. Yeah,
that's sick. That's cool. It's your movie.
my first
Yes,
feature
that's one of
film
his. Yeah.
Cool.
is
Hell yeah,
on
sick.
Tubi, and
Okay, I want to watch it.
we did it ourselves, and they give us some
We
fat
we
checks.
had
Tubi
no
does.
Sick.
budget. We had no budget. We did that just on ourselves on a whim, and it was really
You know
fun. It
what?
was really fun.
My son the other day watched Napoleon Dynamite, and he was the first time he had seen it, and I was like, they like this is just proof that, and yeah, Napoleon Dynamite is like very off cuff. It's very obviously we all know it's just like a cult classic because it's so original and different. But like there is proof. There are case studies where it's like really though if your story is good, if your acting is decent, even just decent, but a great story and it's painted, the perspective of the story is painted correctly, movies will still hit. I've seen some movies or TV shows
I'll
that,
be I'll be honest and vulnerable. It was my first movie I directed, and I was working with a director of photography, and we were 75% through filming, and it got to a point where I was like, "Hey man, like we see eye to eye 90% of the time, but in that 10%, I got to have the last call on a choice." And
right, right.
he was like, "Nope, nope, I just can't agree with you on that."
He's the DP.
Yeah, the DP.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like, "Well, listen, dude, you're fired then.
yeah,
Like, you're
yeah.
done. Like, I am
Right,
not
right,
working with you." And he hits a point, he goes, "Dude, th- we just have to finish making this movie. It's like too good to quit on." And like
right. Yeah, 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 yeah. He
he
would
wouldn't let
let
Let's
me
you
just
fire
get
him.
fire
to
him.
the let's just get to the finish line. Get it?
Yeah, 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 of course. No, no,
Yeah.
I and that's the thing too, is like working with people, like especially in film. I've been there with the conversations where I'm like on a set and I'm like, oh, like this is, someone wants it this way, someone wants it that way. And like
I
that's another
know.
thing
It was a
why I'm like,
huge fight. It was a huge fight.
but
But
that's why I'm
now,
like, I could trust someone like as seasoned as like Mel, like she said, like I'd be like,
exactly.
because bro, like it's not like he doesn't. He knows. He's mentioned. He's talked about the trafficking. He's talked about this. He talked. So he's fully there. So it's not like somebody that's halfway awake is trying to like paint, to direct it. It's like no, someone who has ulterior motives. It's like oh, someone who's going to recognize like oh no, this story has been should have been told. You know what I
Let
mean?
me
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
read a clip. Let me read a clip from Connor. What Connor says. This is kind of where I'm a little past this, but
Who's Connor?
Connor is one of the main
One of the three
characters.
brothers.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
So
No, it's okay.
Heidi's gonna read it next. But
Me?
they're yeah. So it's like
I don't
the
have the book in front of me.
No, what he's
You
what
no,
he
you
what
no.
he's
I'm gonna
done.
give it to you
Oh,
when
I'm
I'm
gonna Oh,
done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant right now. Sorry.
No, not right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Connor's reading list was a labyrinth of topics that spanned history, science, and politics. Among the books were the Bible, the Talmud and Quran, MK Ultra, Operation Mockingbird, eugenics and biology, vaccines, the Ship of Dreams, the Vatican, LAW, Land, Water, and Air, Meridian Law, the Royal Family, Freemasonry, Behavior Analysis Programs, HAARP, Fire Science, Marine Toxins, Snakes of the World, Age of Reptiles, A History of Tunnels, World Thought Police, Weapons of the CIA, NASA, the Moon Landing, Tuskegee Experiment, Television, The Moving Image, History in the Media, No Novosti is Good News, CERN, 1954, Encyclopedia of Gods, over 2,500 deities of the world, quantum physics, and quantum energy. The delivery included a sticky note on the top on the top of the first book about private reserve that read, "Start here, follow the money." A cryptic message from Enoch.
Yep, yep,
Wow.
yep. And so yeah,
Mel
and that's funny.
You
Gibson's name
really
is all over
you
this.
really fit
Literally,
a
you
lot in
feel me?
there. You really
Yeah,
fit a lot
no,
in
for
there.
sure.
But
Yeah, so
that's
yeah, because yeah, he gets like, I mean, it is essentially like, 15 books or something like he received because he's on a tour in Iraq and he's there, and Enoch's like, "What are you doing on your on in Iraq on your downtime? You're reading, like what else are you going to be doing? You're working out, and here's something to dig into essentially."
yeah. No, I love it.
So,
Um,
mhm.
I gotta
It's
say,
got great flow.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
I gotta say though, this is like this whole thing with Mel Gibson and the executive is like triggering a little bit of a cynic in me. And I'm trying to spin it to a positive to reset my programming, you know? It's like, okay, that I really think that it's even COVID too, like you can go that far back things the things that they've been intending for evil like have been spinning for good like
Yeah.
Right,
we've
right, right.
woken people up, we're making all these changes. It's like chaos is happening while like in the meantime, but
Hmm.
it's making so many changes. Like see how many people are coming to God
Right,
in all these different ways.
right. There's a
So
revival.
like yeah, so like I want to believe positively that like oh, you're right. There's people out there that's going to start telling the truth in TV and film and
Right, but we
share
haven't
this.
seen it yet, especially for
Yeah.
those that are the gatekeepers. So like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I again like if it I know that God's hand is on it, whether it happens with them or not. Like, I'm not even
Yeah.
concerned, like, if it gets pushed through or not. But like I said, the only thing that does give me hope is there are a few movies and there are a few, like, look at The Sound of Freedom, but that was Angel Studios. That was a studios that is very
Yeah.
conservative. And so that's why even the partner being like, bro, you and like, I will be partner with you on this and we can take this somewhere else. Like, I have those people already. Like I know
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And so
And
and
I really want to believe someone like Mel Gibson could be a truther. I just have, I think I put together all the pieces of what's been said about him over the years,
well, they
and
tried to
it's
blacklist him when he said,
yeah.
do you remember when he said that Hollywood runs off the blood of innocent children? He said that in like
Dang.
2018. Go look it up. He
Yes,
said
yeah,
it
I
like
remember. And
and
they
and
spun that
after
as a
that,
crazy thing to say, like a
and
mean
they
thing
tried
to
to
say.
blacklist him, and they tried to say that he was suicidal because him and his wife kind of thing, and then there was like this talk of like him going to a hotel and wanting to commit suicide. Look at what they did to Chappelle. Chappelle went to Africa because they tried to like buy the Chappelle show from it. Like they basically twist anybody who's speaking truth, they twist it. So for
Yeah.
Mel, I feel like he's already made it past that time of being like, you can try to cancel me. Go ahead. They already have. Like they've already canceled me. What are you going to do to me now? Like really? So
Hmm.
again, like if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great, because it wasn't meant to happen. So I'm not even attached to like, oh, this doesn't get picked up. It's like an end all. I'm literally like, bro, this show might get made 4 years, 5 years, because every day people are waking up and they're hungry for this information. So to put it in a digestible way for the public, to especially in the form of a TV show where they don't have to sit there and read it. Like, so my goal is in this next year to do the audiobook, have somebody reading it with the Foley in the background, so it's basically like a TV show without visuals. And so that way it's like an
Oh
adventure where
yeah,
I can
totally.
I
Like
can
make
hear the
it
cars in the background.
it could be
And
like a podcast, like a narrative podcast, your book.
yeah,
Yeah. I really
exactly. So that's kind of what I'm doing, gonna make it towards. So I'm like, this project, just the story itself, is going to spread. And I'm just kind of like, eventually someone's gonna be like, I'm gonna go out on a whim and maybe we do this because like obviously there's an audience for it because there really is a huge audience for this right now. So, again, I'm just like hoping for the best. If nothing comes of it, nothing comes of it. I grew up in Hollywood where I've been
Well,
told,
here's the thing.
promise the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I tell this to Michael all the time because Michael gets hyper vigilant and a little paranoid about like other people's ulterior motives. You know,
Right, right, right.
he's got people in our lives
I've
that
I
we
could tell you
call.
some stories.
Well, no, it's just he's
Yeah.
got people in our lives that we call our handlers because of like just the way that
Right.
they've
No, I know what you
dealt
mean.
with us in our lives.
I've
Right,
had,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
obvious. Like the
But
stuff they say, I'm like, okay,
but what
whatever.
I say all the time is like, hey, like this is like for you, Scotty, this opportunity is very exciting and very serendipitous. And like just do it and take it. You can't get
Yeah,
tricked. I know that they like the enemy plays a lot of tricks, but they
right,
can't trick you out of turning away from God. You have to do that
right.
willingly. That's
Exactly.
the
Right,
part they
right.
can't trick. So
Exactly. 100%.
at some point they might make you try to do that and you just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's and
Yeah.
that's why I vibrate in this God frequency where I'm just kind of like, look, I you can't put $1 million in front of me and expect me to do backflips. Like if it's not what I want it to be, I can walk away from $1 million. Have I made $1 million? No, but can I make $1 million? Yes. Does it have to be with you? No. Like I don't like it's not. I'm not. That's the upside of growing around, being in Hollywood and being around everyone that has the Rolls Royces and this and that. I know it means absolutely nothing, even though I'm not the one that personally has had these things. I just can see what it does to people, and I know enough people who've been miserable with those things.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
like to me, it
Yeah.
doesn't really mean as much as they think. I get what you're saying though, because there is also like family and friends that are like, how in the world would a mainstream studio talk about the tricks of the CIA? And
Yeah.
like how in the world or why would they do that? And I was like, fiction.
Because
Like that's
it sounds like this executive guy's like, look, I'm gonna leave this job I'm at and then do this thing.
maybe, maybe not. I don't know. At the end of the day though, they're like they can't control me. And
I'll
that's, you know,
Well, that's
I'll
the thing
tell
is they
yeah.
could like maybe not even this guy. This guy might totally be genuine, but like maybe someone higher up would try to spin this into something that's profitable for them.
definitely.
And again, like
Well,
that's the thing. They don't mind telling the truth when they profit off of it. You
Right,
know,
right.
well,
when
Very,
it
very
like
look,
true.
they misapply the truth in directions that's more profitable
Facts.
for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I'll just speak honesty right now from what I know with my experience. You could take your book and make it into a movie now, put it on or a TV show even. Like it could be a show but multiple movies. But
Mm,
if you were to take it and put it on Tubi next whenever, the next two
hmm.
months, 3 months, you would be pulling in 10 grand a month
Oh,
because
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Tubi's all about the ads and they make ad money
Right, right,
that way.
right. Right, right.
And
Which
that's a
makes sense.
minimum. That's a minimum.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, totally. No, and I
theaters
mean,
and
and don't get me wrong, like some people are like, bro, just start a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or whatever and just, do it yourself. And I hear that, but also I don't want to like prematurely blow it. Because
right, right.
also like because if a studio did approach me, they'd be like, oh, you already released something? Oh, okay.
No, you
Like,
don't want to blow
Well,
that. You
honestly,
just
no,
honestly
you're at a
though,
position where
and I'm
you have
letting
to
it
know what
blow.
guys,
you have. Yeah, you have to
yeah,
know what
but
you have.
honestly though, like having a Kickstarter and self-funding it, um, that that's amazing, and you can always still do that. But
Right.
like if there's a chance that this could reach more people
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
doing it this
Exactly. Yeah,
way,
yeah.
that's
And
the chance you have to take. And I don't see at this point now. Like what level of compromise are we willing to do? We're sitting here
right,
on
right.
Apple products on a Zoom meeting,
Exactly.
like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
all
yeah,
living in this.
exactly.
We all still have to live
Yeah,
in
we're in the
this.
matrix.
The
Yeah.
only way to make this into a reality that works for us is to be a part of it and shape it back into
Right,
what
right.
works for us.
Exactly. And obviously like they're like, "Oh, we're tired of the Hollywood remakes. We're tired. There's no original stories. There's no original content." Well, here's the golden ticket for you guys to get out of your company out of the hole. Like because people are tired of the same old thing. People are tired of the LGBTQ stuff being pushed onto their kids. People are tired of that. And we are the silent majority. Let's remember that that country that we're not supposed to talk on runs all of the media. And they think that they want to convince us that most of the people in this country are on one side, when in reality, they're not. They're on the other side. But they control the media. Therefore, it makes it look and makes us feel alienated, like everybody thinks the way they think, everybody's in alignment with the propaganda that they're pushing and
Yeah, yeah.
peddling,
And
but
and
that's not
mind
true.
you, yeah, and
Yeah,
mind you,
it's an illusion they're
I
creating.
would argue that
Mhm.
these protected classes that they have like that they've used for identity politics, they don't want to be used that way.
Right, right, right.
They're a small percentage of like, I mean transgender, for
Mhm.
example. They're a
Right.
small percentage of the world and like I just like people like grown consenting adults should get to do whatever they want. And that's it. Leave it
100%.
at that. But
Yeah,
like
very simple.
the way that it's like the way that they're just gaslit and used like organ
Mhm.
grinder monkeys to just
Yeah,
do
yeah,
to
literally.
like we need to put a trans flag on the on the missiles that
Yeah,
we're bombing
Well,
in
yeah,
Gaza
yeah,
with or whatever. Like
yeah, exactly.
that's the shit that's bullshit and
Yeah,
that we
yeah, yeah,
need to be
exactly.
stopping. Yeah.
Exactly. And those people like that have grown up and lived in this like as a trans person before now, they like, they don't even agree with this. They're like, why are you guys using my private life? Why are you guys trying to manipulate children into cutting off their genitals? Like that's where we're at. Like if it wasn't where we're at, we wouldn't even be talking about it. But like that's mutilation of children is trying to go mainstream. And that what's more demonic than telling a child that was created in God's image that they're not perfect and that they should mutilate themselves. Like there's nothing more evil on the face of the earth
well, even even
than that,
saying even saying, "Hey, wait till you get to a reasonable age where you're fully informed and can fully make a
If I
decision."
can't get a
It's not
tattoo till
even
I'm
that.
18, but I can cut my genitals off at 12, what sense? Like, come on,
Oh,
like it's, but, and so I will, maybe we can just wrap it up in a little bit, only
Yeah,
because I'm
I
going to have
actually
to
was
take
about
off.
to say I do need to wrap it
Sorry.
up
No,
because
I figured you
no.
guys too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
It was
because
like
he's
quick.
got to get over to Mel Gibson's house for a
yeah,
meeting.
No,
well,
no.
I forgot that I was sitting here in like the kids' play area of a library and I kept saying
Oh,
the S word and then I was turning and there's all these kids.
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So,
It's okay. We're
yeah.
educating them.
they held up a sign for me. They're like, don't talk so loud about the subject matter." I'm like, "Oh, great."
Oh,
Really?
really?
Where you're at right now? Of
Yep.
course. Whoops.
There's a
They're like,
there's a librarian with a mask. She's wearing a mask.
oh,
So
speak the Lord.
she ratted on me.
Oh my gosh,
Of
Michael,
course you did.
we need to start booking the quiet
I'm over here like
It's
areas.
okay.
COVID 9/11.
Anyway, yeah. So, Scotty, thank you so much for being
Thank you
on the
guys
show.
too. Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
It's a lot of stuff to
Let's
God
take
go.
in
over
for me,
Gov.
but I'm staying open. I'm staying open to
Yeah, we
all of
have
it.
to say, and I'm open to all sides too, because that's how you stay educated. Is
Yeah.
Exactly.
you don't shut people down. You just have. That's why Charlie was so powerful in what he did because he was open to he left the discussion open,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people would make points once in a long while where I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
kind of get what they're saying,
We've
though.
Oh yeah.
we've been through a really tough season of a lot of setbacks after setbacks that have come as a result of really standing in our truth. You know what I mean?
Same.
So
Yeah,
it's been really
definitely.
like this is like a nice inspiring story to hear that you write
Right,
this
right.
book and it's doing well and your page does well and everything. So that's nice.
Yeah, people want the truth. Yeah, we are the silent majority, no matter what they try to tell us. We are the majority. They don't want you to know that, but we are.
Well,
So,
thanks for
of
following
course.
God's
Yes, sir, of course.
message and for doing truth, and I know
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it, but getting it in small pieces and then going to
So
pages like yours and stuff and
Scotty, tell the
very
listeners
helpful.
your handle, how they can find you,
Okay.
how they could get the book.
Cool. So my handle is Scotty the Kid with a Y, ScottyThekid. Direct message me right now. I don't have a website because I'm in the process of getting all of my back end stuff set up. So right now, all I do is have physical copies of the book. If you would like the book, you can direct message me directly. I will talk with you. I'll DM
Yes.
with you. I'll message you because that's just what level of independence we're at. I'm not controlled by anybody else. Nobody has any other piece in this. I've put my heart and soul into this story and literally into the packaging itself. So if you want a book, just direct message me and I will literally send you a book from my hands to yours. And that's how you can get it for now. And in the next
Yeah.
year or so, yeah, boy, let's
Scott
go.
Ryan. Scott
Yes,
Ryan.
sir. Yes,
I
yep, yep.
do
So,
I do have a complaint from a comedian friend of mine. It's a
uh-huh.
funny one though. So
A
his name,
complaint?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so my comedian friend, his name is Scott Kidd, and I get this
Oh, how
DM.
funny.
I get this DM from Scott Kidd, and he goes, I wish he would go by his real name.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I know, dude. And you want to know why I've gone by Scotty the Kid? Because a lot of
Oh,
people are
it's
like,
like a
why do you
cool name. It's like
thanks, bro.
yeah,
Well,
No,
it's
it's
literally the
I
translation
you're
of
a
your
music
name,
guy.
isn't it?
yeah, so
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
I was born in Arizona, which
Wow.
Billy the Kid was an outlaw that I like grew up thinking was cool. And I was like, yo, Billy the Kid. I was like, but I'm Scotty the Kid, low key. And then I was like, also being the kid is like the creative adult is the kid who never died. So like I saw this like newspaper cut clip out of like clip art and it's a little girl and little boy playing with playing on the floor in like a playroom and she says, what do you want to be when you give up? And so basically,
Oh,
instead of grow up, so that when you grow up and you conform to the system, that's meant to strip you of your art and strip you of all of that. So being if you stay a kid, you stay in that creative space and that flow. And as an artist, I don't want to lose sight of like that excitement and joy that it feels to make art. That's the kid in me. And so I'll always stay a kid. So that's why I'm like Scotty the kid, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's really cute. Okay. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much
Sick.
for
amen,
talking with
brother.
Okay.
us.
Thank you guys. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Yeah.
Appreciate
you.
you.
We'll see you next
All right.
time
Much
on
love, you
the
guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks for listening to the Never Forget Hidden History podcast. Email us at neverforgethh@gmail.com. Follow Heidi on TikTok and Instagram and me as well at Michael.Gilkison, Heidi Rachel Brown, and any other handles? Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're coming back to me, but I know that you're gone, so I fall till I